We like to talk about staying healthy in retirement, and one easy way of staying healthy in retirement is to be happy and engaged in life. Today we're going to share the number one thing that we've observed that happy retirees do in retirement. Welcome to Track Us Down. If you're just finding us, I'm Monique.
And I'm Doug. Our channel is all about downshifting to an early retirement, living a healthy lifestyle, and enjoying all the freedom that comes with it.
After over 25 years of working hard and raising our family, we retired from our careers, we sold everything, and we began our second half of life. We make our base here on the beautiful island of Madeira.
So if there's one thing that I think Monique and I have been good at throughout the course of our careers and our adult lives, it's being observant. Monique is a teacher, well, she has eyes in the back of her head. She knows what the students were doing. Even now, she still says, I saw that, even though she's not looking at me, or I heard that, even though I whispered. So I can't get away with anything. And me as a police officer, well, I'm used to seeing things on the street that the average person doesn't see. So we're pretty observant. And one thing that we've observed from meeting so many retirees here over the last 9 months of our retirement here in Madeira, Portugal, is the number one thing happy retirees seem to do. So stay tuned for that.
Fun fact, did you know that Madeira Island has the world's largest firework display on New Year's Eve? It even made it into the Guinness Book of World Records. Fun fact!
In many jobs and many professions, as you go along throughout the years, you're learning something new. You're being taught new skills, and you have to keep up with the changing workforce. That keeps you busy, and most times you hear people say that work gives them purpose. But now that you're retired or thinking about retirement, you have to think about the future and what that means. People often ask us, how will you spend your time? How will you stay busy? That falls on you now to fill your time and to learn new things. So we've observed that the number one thing that seems to keep retirees happy, both ourselves and the people that we've met, is learning new skills. And you have to take that on yourself.
There are so many options for learning something new. Obviously, depending on what you already know how to do, something new is different for everyone. So we thought we would share 3 new things that we are learning in our retirement that keep us happy and keep us motivated. So we're gonna share 3 of them, and number 3 is so strange for us if you knew us in real life.
It blew us away. It'll blow you away as well. We've always been fairly active people, but one of the things that we picked up on even as we approached our retirement was learning something new as far as sports and even music. I was never a musical person growing up. I was always into the sports, but it's always been on the back of my mind. I like music, and I particularly like guitar. I've always liked 80s rock. In the last couple of years, as I approached retirement, I picked up my son's electric guitar, and from there it just took off. I ended up getting my own guitar, and I've been using an online service that's been around from the 1990s called Guitar Tricks. Now this isn't a paid promotion. They don't even know I exist, and it's probably a good thing because I may not be doing them justice, but it has been a great way to start learning how to play the guitar. I can do it on my own time in the evening. I found it so relaxing, and when I start to hear actual musical notes that I can make once in a while, it sounds fantastic. So I'm gonna keep tooling away on that, and I'm gonna learn to be musical.
And on the opposite end, I have always been very musical, so learning a new sport was something new for me. Doug loves tennis and has played tennis pretty much his whole life. I've never held a tennis racket. So one of the new things that I'm learning in retirement that makes me happy is learning to play tennis. We found a coach here from South Africa.
South Africa, yes.
South Africa. He's fabulous, and once a week I have a 1-hour lesson where I'm learning to hold the racket, understand the game, and getting a really good workout in the meantime.
And we're off to a good start with him. He's got the same first name as me, but he's a professional tennis coach. He's been coaching tennis for, I think, 17 years back in South Africa. He is just great. And one of the things that I've also picked up, because I've been taking the lessons as well, is that even though I've been playing tennis since I've been about 13 years old, I just learned kind of how to play it on my own. but now I'm learning the theory behind it, and he's correcting all my mistakes, and my game is getting better, and I'm enjoying it more and more. And now going forward, it's something that we can enjoy playing together.
So that's one way to stay happy in retirement. The second new skill that we are learning to keep us happy in retirement is a language. Now, we obviously both speak English. I also speak French, but we need to learn Portuguese. We want to, and not just any Portuguese, we need to learn Portugal Portuguese. So that is something that has been on our agenda since we've moved to Portugal. We do know that eventually, if we want to go for citizenship, that we have to have a certain level of proficiency. And we would need to go to in-person classes at the Université de Madeira and do that to learn Portuguese to a high enough level. That isn't where we're at right now. We are still doing some traveling and we've been settling into our new place. So we have found another way to start learning Portuguese.
And we started with just immersion. Immersion is one of the best ways to learn. We can do the usual greetings and goodbyes and things like that. Of course, that's not going to cut it in the long run. As Monique said, we've been very busy getting settled in and moving to our place here after renting our apartment. We haven't had the time, and with COVID on top of that, we just haven't had the ability to go for in-person classes. It is on our to-do list, but right now we want to do some traveling. We want to go back and see family. I might cut a lot of this out. So we found another way. We have found a fantastic app to use, which actually has Portuguese, PT, not Brazilian Portuguese. And that is one of the main roadblocks to finding a good online learning site for languages, for Portuguese in particular, is that most of them, even Google, even Apple, they only have Brazilian Portuguese. But we found something that we can take with us. We can use it in the airport, on the plane, in hotel rooms, or wherever we happen to be for 10, 15 minutes a day, and it's working out pretty good.
And honestly, 10, 15 minutes a day for language learning, having been a language teacher my whole life, is about the only amount of time that your brain's actually engaged in an activity to learn a new language. So the time frame works really well for us. And the app's really interactive. They have male and female voices, which I really appreciate. And it's all kind of game-based. So we're kind of having fun doing that as well, listening to each other, doing the app and repeating the words. So learning a new language is something we've taken on in retirement, and it's making us happy.
And we also want to honor the country that allowed us to come here in retirement by learning their language. I can't wait to be able to have conversations with the locals in their own language. I try, but I'm just not quite there yet. As Monique mentioned before, this one has been the most surprising for us as far as learning new skills. If you knew us before we were retired, you would know that Doug and Monique do not do YouTube videos. We do not do public speaking like this to the world. Between Monique's job and my job, we are actually very private people by necessity, and we are also fairly shy. That's just the way that we were raised. But making these videos has been so much fun. There's a huge learning curve, and I'm still learning as far as audio and video techniques, but it's been a lot of fun. There's been a big learning curve as far as learning the audio, and I have a ways to go yet, and the video, but the learning curve has sure been a lot of fun. For example, in my job, 50% of the time, if not more, my interactions with people have been for a negative reason or another. Now, we always get to interact with people on a positive level. So many people have reached out to us. We've met so many new people through doing this. It has been absolutely fantastic. It has been so rewarding and a great addition, surprisingly, to the start of our retirement.
And we challenged ourselves at the beginning of the year, could we put out a video once a week for a year? That was our challenge to ourselves, and it made us happy because it was something we were doing as a couple. It was something creative out of the teaching realm, out of the policing realm, just something completely different and something nobody would think that we would do. And for that reason, we tend to be quite vague sometimes about things, and it's because nobody back home knows that we are doing this. So our new friends through YouTube obviously do, but people back in our former lives do not. We've learned so many different skills, as Doug mentioned. Doug does all the editing and the filming, but there's the writing, the scripting, the planning. There's so many different ideas that go into making a YouTube video. It's actually quite challenging. And I would say the most challenging part of being on YouTube or making YouTube videos is learning to speak to the camera. It's quite different. That's not something we do in real life. It's amazing after 6 months how much more comfortable both of us are speaking to the camera, redoing a take, or critiquing each other and starting fresh again.
But it's not just speaking to the camera, it's speaking to you. And we thank you so much for watching us and for interacting with us. And we hope to have more useful content, because that's one of the challenges as well, is having something to say and doing it right. So hopefully these videos keep getting better, both in the editing and in the content. But it's been nice meeting you.
And it's been so nice communicating with people via the comments or on email. And we've been so fortunate to meet so many of our subscribers in real life, which has added to our happiness in our retirement. So that has been absolutely great. So as we mentioned, the number one thing that makes retirees happy in retirement is learning something new. And fortunately, if you're not retired yet, it's not something you need to worry about or think about. It will come when you retire. You can start thinking about it, but if you don't or you're not really sure, that's okay. It'll kind of come into play as you're retiring and you start opening your mind to new opportunities and new things.
And I would say that it's never too early to start though. Just like me, 2 to 3 years before retired, picked up that guitar and just started playing. It takes a long time, the older you are, to learn something like that, especially if you've never done it before. So if there's something that you want to start, that you want to do in retirement, or you think that you might want to do in retirement, get started. It's never too soon to start. If you found this video useful, if you found it a little bit entertaining, maybe a little bit motivating, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It really helps our little channel grow and we really appreciate it. And as always, check back in and
track us down.